Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of Big D's Custom Garage. I am Big D. On this YouTube channel, this page is directed at performance and custom work to vehicles, motorcycles, pretty much anything with an engine that I can get my hand on. The difference between this page and any other page on YouTube is my projects will be in depth and in detail. They will be very much in detail. So if there's anything you're wanting to learn, you will probably be able to learn it from me. You're basically going to get free schooling. There's not going to be highlights of stuff like your regular YouTubers or even your car shows on TV. My videos will be very long, so be prepared for that because they have to be in order for me to go into detail. But they will also be very fun at the same time. I'm going to be asking the people who follow me and the fans to leave their feedback on certain suggestions on projects that I might want to do on the project, and I have more than one option to go on. So I might ask people to leave feedback to tell me what route that they would go. So with that being said, our first project, I am going to flip the camera around for you now. Our first project is going to be this 1980 Chevy El Camino. This 1980 Chevy El Camino, I happened to recently purchase off of my brother. This car was originally his first ever car. He bought it in '97. And he drove it as a daily driver until he parked it in 2003. The car on the outside pretty much looks identical to the day that he bought it. Same paint job, same wheels, everything. It's just dirty and paint's chipping and stuff like that. The reason why paint's chipping and stuff like that on it is because the car was parked in 2003. Because my brother decided that he wanted to do some performance upgrades to it. But shortly after that, he joined the military and went over to Afghanistan for 2.5 years. Well, in that process of time, he was using his military money to order parts for it and having them shipped back here. At the time, the car was staying at our mom and dad's house. So as the parts came in, my brothers, our dad would put the parts on it to give himself something to do because my dad was retired. And in that process of time, let me stress this before I go on. All the stuff that was done to the car since 2003, all those particular parts that have been added to this car since being parked in 2003 are still in brand new condition. They've never been ran on. They've never been driven on. They've never been started. Nothing. So the parts are still like new. So let's start with what we got going on under the hood. Okay. If I can get it open. All right. What we have going on under the hood is a GM 350 V8 crate motor that was put in the car shortly before my brother purchased the car. He got all receipts, so we know in fact that it's a crate motor. Now, it had an Edelbrock intake on it, and an Edelbrock carburetor, and that was basically it. Dual exhaust, some glass packs. It was pretty basic, but we still played around with it some. You know, we went to the drag strip, and it did okay. It ran 14 threes in the quarter. And I mean, yeah, nothing special. But when I moved out here in 2009 from California, I went ahead and tore the motor down and put a 465 lift cam in it and lifters, and I put a Pete Jackson gear drive on it, and we put the billet aluminum Mallory HEI distributor on it. It's got brand new hooker headers on it that have been adapted for emissions control. But even though I put all these new parts into the motor in 2009, we haven't started it since putting the new parts in it. So the new parts that are in the motor that I put in it are still brand new. So some of this stuff I'm going to be able to resell off this current setup. Now, let me show you back here. We have a brand new 12 gallon fuel cell. Never had a drop of fuel in it, but it's coming out, and I'm going to be replacing it with a 16 gallon fuel cell. Now, let's get up underneath here. Now, I just put the car up on jack stands for easier to work on it and stuff. Okay, under here, we have brand new polyurethane body bushings all throughout, front to back, all new polyurethane bushings, body bushings. The rear end, even though it's dirty because it's been sitting and it didn't get sealed right, so all the gear oil leaked back out of it, so that's why it's dirty. This car, brand new Hotchkiss suspension, front and back. Hotchkiss sway bars, front and back, aftermarket shocks, stainless steel brake works, conversion kit,
from drum to rotor on the back. Never been driven on. Just rusty from sitting. So I'll have to have them surfaced. No big deal. The rear end has been fully built. It's got 28 spline axles in it. It's got brand new Eaton posi unit in it. It has brand new Richmond 373 gears in it. Again, never been driven on. The rear end housing in this car that we found out is not original. It is actually the beefier of the G-body housings. It came out of a Caprice station wagon. The big 1980s boats. So they had beefier rear ends in them. So somebody at one time replaced the rear end housing in this car. Of course, stock fuel tank's been removed. Brand new Holley fuel pump. Brand new Holley fuel filter. Brand new fuel lines. Nothing's ever had a drop of fuel ran through it since installed. Okay. Now, I've covered the stock motor that's in it now. You know that it has Hotchkiss suspension. You know the rear end's built in it. You also know it has stainless steel brake works. Disc brakes all the way around on it. With a proportioning valve. So I can adjust the brake bias front to back in it. Now, let me show you the interior. Our interior in this car looks like crap at the moment. Okay, we have a 6-point roll cage. Has not been fully installed. It's just been basically bolted into place as a, I guess, a mock-up, dry fit, whatever you want to call it. This 6-point cage is going to be coming out, and it will be being replaced with a 8-point cage. This dash, my dad and my brother made it by hand. Wanted a more race car looking dash. It's going to be coming out. I am getting a fiberglass mold of the original G-body dash that will be going in place of this dash. So it will look like it has the original dash in it, but it's actually going to be just a fiberglass mold. Now these new digital gauges, they will be mounted in the new dash with some additional gauges. That shifter will be being replaced with a Pro series shifter. We have a quick release steering wheel. I have brand new Sparco racing buckets that are wrapped up in the garage. So those will be going in here. The carpet will be getting cleaned up. I'm getting brand new door panels for it, because they're all sun rotted. The car was rewired in 2009. It has a whole entire painless wiring kit. It has a couple of loose ends to tie up on it, but nothing major. Now that you've seen the overview of what the car is right now, what the car is becoming is this 350 motor is coming out. It is going to get tore down completely to the bare block. It is going to the machine shop, going to be bored 40 over, getting not flat top, it's getting dished, pistons put in it, Eagle H-beam rods, the crank's going to be polished, the stock heads are going to be fully worked by me, port and polished. It's going to get a much bigger cam. It's getting a Edelbrock Victor Jr. high-rise intake manifold, a blow-through carburetor, tunable ignition system, keeping the Pete Jackson gear drive. Eventually the car will be switched to throttle body fuel injection, but for right now it will be just a blow-through carburetor. The reason why we are going blow-through carburetor is because this car is getting turned into a turbo car. I am going to be running twin turbos on this car. There will be one precisely right around in this area for the driver's side. And then there will be another one right around in this area for the passenger side. Now, I'm not going to tell you guys what size turbos until I have them. Let's just say they're not small. This thing's going to be a beast. It really is. I'm expecting some pretty large horsepower and torque improvements out of this car. The factory fender wells are probably going to be coming out of it, along with the factory heater and AC box, because I have no use for that and I could use the room right now, because more than likely that's where my tunable ignition box is probably going to go. The particular ignition box I'm putting on it has a two-step already programmed in it, and it's also set up for forced induction setups, so it will be able to self retard or advance for the boost requirements. So that's what's going to be done to the motor. The transmission is a turbo 350. It is coming out and it is being fully built. It's getting racing friction discs and clutch plates, and it's getting new gears. It's getting a reverse throttle body with a trans brake. Now, I don't do transmissions. I'm going to order the parts. I am having a transmission shop professionally build the transmission. Everything else I'm doing. Okay? Now, For the exhaust, if you were paying attention earlier in this video, I said there was going to be suggestions because I have options. So, the exhaust coming out the turbo. Should I, one, run it down under the car like normal exhaust on each side with a muffler and a nice turn down to quiet it up some? Or two, do I come off the back of the turbo and come over straight piped and run it right here out the top of the fender on each side? Or option 3, I run it off the turbo, down under the car, out right here, down the side of the car like a side pipe with a turnout on it about right in here behind the door. Which, take in mind, the piping on all 3 options will be 3.5 to 4 inch diameter piping. So take that into consideration. Leave your suggestions in the comment box below. For today, that is going to end our video. Thank you guys for tuning in to my first video on my page. If you like what you see and you want to see more, hit the like button and please hit that subscribe button. Share these videos with your friends. Pass them on. There will be another video coming very soon. Hope y'all are having a great day. See you in the next video. Big D, I'm out.